It's every Sunday at 10 a.m. For the last two classes, we've been covering various Hindi scenarios. In the first class, we covered how to sort of navigate, or once you're in a train station, how do you decide, where to go, and how to talk in Hindi. In the second class, we spoke about, friends and family, right? In this class, in the next, 45 minutes to 1 hour, we'll be learning about how to place food, or how to order food in Hindi. So without further ado, we'll get started with the class. So scenario is ordering food in Hindi. Right. So let's take a quick pause here and let me ask you guys, what kind of sentences or phrases come to your mind whenever you're talking about you have to order food in Hindi. Like, what are some of the things that you would like to say, even in English, right? So let's take a quick pause here and let's get some of the answers from you. This will sort of set the stage for what we'll be discussing in the next 45 minutes to 1 hour. So some of the things that come to my mind are, like, for example, I am hungry, or let's go to a restaurant, right? Sentences like, do you serve, let's say, samosas? Similarly, it's very spicy. And I'm getting some of the responses from you guys. What is their best dish? So what is your best dish? What else? What else comes to your mind whenever you are thinking about ordering the food? Something like, I do not want spicy food, or you can also think about, um, I will eat, let's say, lentil curry or dal, right? So these are some of the some of the things, right? Let's say, can you swap this? Okay, so something like, I am vegan or vegetarian. Good. So we have a good list of things that we would like to convey while visiting an Indian restaurant, or when we are placing an order, in Hindi, right? So let's go scenario by scenario. In this class, I have broken down this class into about 8 scenarios, or 8 sort of like cases that we'll be discussing, right? So let's start with the first case that we have, right? And by the end of that case, I'm a vegan, or I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, all those cases, right? So case one is I am fill in blank, right? So this fill in blank is your state or your preference. When I say state, means like, whether you are hungry or tired, anything, that kind of state I'm talking about, right? So the formula is You will say for I it's मैं, right? And then whatever condition or preference you have, it will come here. And after that, am is whom, right? So you have मैं, then your preference, whom. Good. So let's fill in the blank here. How do I say different situations? How do I sort of cover different cases? The first one I have is I am. I'm going to take a quick pause here to see if you can, write down the sentence in Hindi. So take your time and think about how would you say this in Hindi. Okay, very good. So even if you don't know the meaning of hungry, first of all, you can always use our formula, right? Which is hungry ko. This is like your target, or the word you want to find out in Hindi. Ko Hindi में क्या कहते हैं, right? That is like your formula for anything. If you want to know the vocabulary word for a particular word, this will give you the answer. So hungry को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं, right? So here you can say either मैं hungry हूँ, if you don't know the meaning of, if you don't know the vocabulary word for hungry in Hindi, or you can say मैं भूखा for a male, मैं भूखा हूँ, right? Or for female you can say मैं भूखी, which is female, मैं भूखी हूँ. And if you're talking about plural, you can say हम भूखे हैं, हम भूखे हैं, right? Uh, some of you attempted other way of saying it as well, which is correct. You can always say, you can also say मुझे और मुझको, मुझे भूख लग रही है, मुझे भूख लग रही है. You can say that as well. That's correct. Okay. So, but I thought it was simpler. मैं भूखा हूँ, because it is repeatable in many other scenarios as well. That's why I use that. Let's use other one. What if you want to say, the second is I am thirsty. And again, I'll give you some time to sort of reflect upon it and tell me how would you say that in Hindi. Okay, okay. So you'll say मैं, either you'll say मैं thirsty, but that's in English, right? And if you want to know the meaning of that, either you can say thirsty को or thirst को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं, right? The word is प्यास, but when you're using it, you can say मैं प्यासा for a male, मैं प्यासा हूँ. For a girl or female, you'll say मैं प्यासी हूँ. Or for a plural, for हम, you'll say हम प्यासे. For basically plural, हम प्यासे हैं और वे प्यासे हैं. And the way you write it is like, this is per, half per, या सा, प्यासा. It's प्यासी, and then प्यासे, half per, या, and then से, प्यासे. Okay, very good. So as Yon, use the formula, you can always use that to figure out the Hindi vocabulary words. So we'll do one more, and we'll switch to our, I'll give you some homework after that, and then we'll switch to our next case, right? So the next one I have is, I am tired. How will you say that? Good, right? So you will say, either you'll say मैं tired हूँ, or you can say मैं थका हूँ, or you can say थका हुआ हूँ. Either way is fine. Either थका हूँ or थका हुआ हूँ for a male, or for a girl it's मैं थकी हुई हूँ for a female, or for plural it could be हम थके हुए हैं. And you can see, right? I mean, they both are following the same sort of ending. थका हुआ, थकी हुई, and then a, right? And you can always use just the first part. That's not a problem. मैं थका हूँ, मैं थकी हूँ, हम थके हैं. That's correct as well, right? So that's pretty much our case one. With the help of this case one, you can do a lot of other sentences as well. And I'm going to give you some homework here. We will not cover it in class, but because you know the template or formula, it should be pretty easy for you, right? Uh, First homework here is I'm vegetarian. Let's say if you want to say that, or I'm vegan, or I'm not vegetarian. Okay. Um, okay, I am vegan. And let's say if I can give you some more exercises. I am, what are other dietary preferences? Okay, let's say I am strictly, and then let's say same thing. If you want to say I'm strictly vegetarian, let's say. So that's pretty much the homework for you. Um, you have to, with the help of the template that we have covered, you have to come up with the Hindi sentences for these. Okay. I assume it should be pretty straightforward. Try it, and I'll help you out. You can always post your answer on the Facebook group that we have. Okay. So let's jump to the case two, the other kind of sentences that we covered in the beginning of the lecture. The other thing that that comes to my mind is like, let's do this. Let's do, and then this activity, right? Do is a verb, right? Examples are, let's go to a restaurant. Typical use case is like, I'm tired, I cannot cook, let's go to a restaurant, right? Or, I'm tired, let's go for a walk, right? Or I'm bored, let's go watch a movie, right? So how do we say that, right? Uh, let's do this thing, right? So in this case, you're not giving instructions to anyone. You're just saying that, okay, uh, together, let's do this activity, right? So what is the formula for this thing? Very simple, right? So first one is let's go to a restaurant. Here you can either use the word restaurant or you can use a Hindi word for it. Simplicity sake, I'll just use restaurant. The formula is restaurant, and then go is a verb, and to go is chalna, right? But because you are sort of like, giving or, talking to plural people, right? So you'll be restaurant chalte hain. Restaurants chalte hain. Let's go to a restaurant, right? Reflect upon it, for a few seconds and it will start making sense to you. What you have done is you took the verb, right? You took the first piece of it, chal, and then you replaced na with te. Restaurants chalte hain, right? Restaurant chalte hain. If I were to give you more example, let's watch a movie. So if you were to use the same sort of formula, right? To watch is देखना. देखना. This sentence now. Let's say I'll simply use movie. It would be movie. Very good, right? So देखते मूवी देखते हैं movie देखते हैं. So what you've done is you took the first half of the word, which is still here, and then you replace na with te, right? Movie देखते हैं. Now I'm going to give you some more of like sentences with a similar flavor, right? I'm going to erase everything so it will be a refresher for you. Let's play football. Let's see if you can, complete this. How do you say that? Let's play football. Okay. To play is खेलना. Very good, right? So it will be football. खेलते हैं. I very much encourage you that, if you don't know the verbs or if you're still learning Hindi verbs, that's like a must thing, right? I mean, for other things we can come up with formula templates, but the prerequisite is that you have to know, some of the common verbs, and that will sort of strengthen your understanding on, Hindi as well. Um, Another thing, like let's say you are in a restaurant and the food is already served, right? So let's eat simply. Let's eat. To eat is khana. Very good, right? So it's a simple sentence. You will be say खाते हैं. I purposely didn't put anything after that, right? But खाते हैं, or you can also say चलो खाते हैं. Good, right? So I hope this template or this case is also very clear. I'll give you some exercises here as well, so that way you get to sort of like reflect on this particular use case as well. The homework you have is let's read a book. Okay, let's read a book. Let's do this one is a little bit difficult. Let's do some community work. Okay, or let's think. Okay, take your time. I think the second one is a bit tricky. The rest of the two should be straightforward for you. The prerequisite again here is like you need to know the verb, right? And even if you don't know the verb, you can always use the formula to find out, how do you say this verb in Hindi. Okay, so let's jump to the next case. Um, I hope you were able to write it down. If not, the lecture will be recorded, so you can always come back, right? So now the third use case. Again, we're still talking about the restaurant scenario, right? Um, and in this case, you are saying that I will take, for example, you go to a restaurant and they're asking you what would you like to have, right? So that is the question. The question is what would you like to have? Give me a quick minute just to make sure that there is no echo in the background. Okay, so what would you like to have? So first thing is like you will learn how to say that in Hindi. But for the time being, let's say, what are some of the general responses when you go to a restaurant? What are some of the general responses? You will say, I will, I'll take a samosa, or we will take, um, let's say, you'll take some um, chole. Chole is nothing but chickpeas, basically. Um, the chickpeas, or we will take. You can say um, chicken tikka masala. Anything that comes to your mind, right? Just a quick check. There is some echo in the background, so if you can just mute yourself, that will be really great. That way, I don't hear my voice in the background. Um, just check your uh, your microphone is muted, right? So these are the general things in this case that we'll be covering. So let's first of all, let's discuss how do you say even this particular sentence in Hindi, right? And this is something, when you're going to a restaurant, you will be asked this particular thing in Hindi. Again, one particular thing I want to emphasize, oftentimes people say that, I don't have someone to practice with in Hindi, right? I think you should definitely take this as an opportunity. Most of the Indian restaurants owners or people who work there, they might, they have understanding of Hindi. That's your opportunity to practice your Hindi, right? I mean, if you have hesitation talking in person, you can always call them, and over the phone, nobody's looking at you, right? So you can practice conversing in Hindi, and I think that's the best way, right? I mean, you can always correct it, you can always sort of pay attention to what you said, and that's what I want you to, try it out at least towards the end of the class, get some courage, call your favorite restaurant and start talking to them in Hindi. Um, this sentence, right? What would you like to have? Um, aap. So in this case, you have aap, right? To have or to take, it's a verb, right? What again interrogative. And here it is like, future. Future sort of indefinite. So it would be aap क्या लेंगे आप क्या लेंगे आप is you क्या is what this is the verb called lena to take is lena but when you're saying it in future it would be लेंगे for आप right right or as you guys some of you pointed out if you want to say that in present tense though right so this is again in the future basically right what would you like to have um, if you want to say what do you want that's a little bit more informal what do you want but that would be आपको क्या चाहिए some of you have attempted this that's correct there's no nothing wrong with it आपको क्या चाहिए right or what do you like that's the third thing which some of you attempted what do you like which is also one way of saying it what do you like so that would be आपको क्या पसंद है आपको क्या पसंद है that's correct as well okay now there's a reason I particularly chose this the future template I thought it will sort of give you a framework that if somebody's asking you your question in sort of a future indefinite tense your response would be in future indefinite as well right so if you remember some of the answers we said you said I will take a mango lassi or I will take a samosa, I'll take a chicken tikka masala or I'll take a dessert, right? All of them, if you look at it, they're all sort of like future indefinite, right? So let's practice the answer now. The first one I have here is um, I will take a samosa. Let's see if some of you already know how do you say that in Hindi. So I'll take a quick, a 30-second sort of like a pause here to see if you can write down the answer. Okay, very good. It's basically, if you remember the future indefinite tense, this is very simple example of it, right? So in a different context, if I say I will study, you'll say मैं, to study is पढ़ना, that's to study, right? But when you use it in future indefinite, it would be मैं. You'll use the first half of the word पढ़, and then you say मैं पढ़ूंगा, मैं पढ़ूंगा, right? And to take is लेना, right? To take, what I'll say is to take is लेना, but in future indefinite it would be. And again we're using it for I. So मैं पढ़ना, so पढ़ना becomes पढ़ूंगा. When you are talking about I will take, so लेना becomes, it would be लूंगा for a meal, right? या मैं लेऊंगा, that's correct as well, लेऊंगा, right? So in this case it would be मैं. And samosa, it's like, some of you are already familiar with it. It's like sort of an appetizer. So it'll be मैं. You'll say मैं एक समोसा लेऊंगा for a male. For a female, it would be लेऊंगी. So it's ending with a, e, and then makes up. And if you're talking about plural, we will take a samosa. It would be हम एक समोसा लेंगे. It's a bit tricky, but the more examples we do, it will get much clearer to you. So you won't have any confusion after we do a lot of exercises, right? And that's what I plan to do. Okay, so let's do another one. So I hope you were able to write it down. Um, what else? What is your other favorite things that you order? Let's just go over them. So feel free to write down your favorite dishes that you usually order in an Indian restaurant. So let's say I'll take a mango lassi. And again, you can use it based on your sort of like whether you are a male or a female. How do you say that? You already have a formula in front of you. I will take a mango lassi. Very good, right? So for a girl, it would be मैं एक mango lassi लेऊंगी. Okay. What about you want to say I will eat or I will drink? Sorry. How will you say to drink in the same formula using future indefinite? How do you say that? Okay, so to drink is pina, right? But if you want to say that in future indefinite, it would be very good. So for a male, it's piyunga. For a female, it's piyungi, right? So again, to come back, for a guy, it's मैं एक mango lassi लेऊंगा, right? So I hope this is clear. I'll remove everything so that way you sort of like, you have to remember it rather than just reading from the whiteboard. And now I'm gonna just like open it up so that way you get to sort of like, write down all of them. You can say I'll take a naan or a roti. You can also say I'll take um, chicken tikka masala, right? Uh, or what about you want to say um, paneer sabji? Paneer is like tofu, right? I mean made from rather than soy milk, it's like the regular milk, right? So I'll let you do some of these exercises based on the sort of like the templates that we have discussed. I want to focus more on like how do you say paneer sabji or gajar halwa in Hindi, right? Gajar halwa is like the carrot kind of a pudding, right? I want to spend some time there so that way you can understand how do you, and it's a very simple thing, right? I mean, chicken tikka masala is one thing, so that should not be a problem. But any sabji basically, any sabji is like sabji is considered like feminine, right? So how do you say that? You say paneer ki sabji. Sabji is vegetable or curry, right? Paneer ki sabji. Sabji is again vegetable, right? So, and the reason you have ki is because sabji is considered feminine. That is made of paneer, right? Now, how do you say मैं um, potato? I will take the potato sabji. How do you say that in Hindi? I'll give you one more hint. You will say potato ki sabji. And if you don't know, if you want to say that in Hindi explicitly, you can use our formula. Potato को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? And potato को हिंदी में आलू कहते हैं, right? So your answer would be very good. As Saida mentioned, it would be आलू की सब्जी, right? So you'll say मैं एक आलू की सब्जी लूंगा और मैं एक आलू की सब्जी लूंगी, right? Let's do some more. And again, we're still discussing case 3. Let's talk about what are some of the other curries, uh, other sabjis, right? So you'll say, um, let's say cauliflower sabji, right? And again, the intent here is that you to sort of memorize sort of all the fruits and vegetables in Hindi, right? Cauliflower is like you can say gobi ki sabji, right? Um, Pretty much the first word that you have to think, either you can say that in, if you know that in Hindi, very good. If you don't know that, you can still say that in English, right? You can also ask this question, right? Which is we'll be covering it in the next sort of like a case, which is like do you have this sabji? Because that is often a thing that we want to clarify whenever we go to a restaurant, right? So that's using key for sabji. Let's do which is halwa. Halwa is sort of a pudding or a dessert, and that's considered masculine, right? So that's why it's like carrot. They say carrot halwa. That's basically carrot in Hindi is gajar, and the way you say it, gajar ka halwa, gajar ka halwa. Okay, what else comes to your mind where you use ka, right? You can also say if you go to a Punjabi restaurant, and I know some of you are a big fan of it, you'll be saying sarso ka saag. Saag is also vegetable. And sarson is, let's see if you can, some of you already know about sarson. Mustard, basically, right? Sarson is nothing but mustard, right? So pretty much, once you know the fruits and vegetables, you can sort of say that for any kind of like, pudding, you can use ka, or for any kind of sabji, you can use ki. Um, let's have, case 4 now. Case 4 is similar to above. Now you want to say, so far you said I will have this. Now the case 4 is I won't have, and then this thing, right? Very similar to the earlier case, but let's say you want to say I won't have spicy food, right? Or you can say I won't have dairy in my food, dairy products, right? Or you can also say I won't have dessert, I'm full. How do you say that? So it's pretty much, what we covered in the earlier case, right? Only thing is like you will be adding nahi before the verb, right? So let's see if you can attempt it. The first one, just try to attempt the first one. I won't have spicy food. Yeah, I won't take spicy food, right? So very good, right? So you'll put nahi before the verb, right? So the first one is मैं spicy food, and then you'll put nahi, nahi, लेऊंगा for a guy, लेऊंगी for girl, or लेंगे for plural, for a group, right? Spicy food is तीखा, right? तीखा खाना. So along with all the fruits and vegetables, in one of the case I'll cover all the taste, different kind of tastes, right? So that's also a good thing to remember in or to learn in Hindi, right? So मैं spicy food और मैं तीखा खाना नहीं लेऊंगा, right? Let's say the same thing about dessert. Now you want to say the same thing. I won't take desserts. How do you say that? ओके, वेरी गुड, राइट. सो डेजर्ट को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? डेजर्ट को हिंदी में मिठाई, मिठाई कहते हैं. सो मीठा, sorry, actually I should, yeah, so if it is meetha, meetha is sweet, taste, right? This is referring to the taste. And then mithai is again a sweet, but it's not a taste, it's basically the actual dish or dessert that is served to you. right? So that's mithai. Okay, so you can either say मैं डेजर्ट नहीं लेऊंगा और लेऊंगी, or you can say मैं, you can simply say मैं मिठाई नहीं लेऊंगी or मैं मिठाई नहीं लेऊंगा. Very good, right? That's either have written down. So I hope this is clear. I want you to, like, also take, as a homework, take any two things, right? And then practice it as well. Like some of the things that you usually don't order when you go to an Indian restaurant. And again, the idea here is like, you should be ready when you go next time with your Hindi sentences, right? Let's take case 5. And case 5 is from the perspective of the restaurant owner or somebody who's asking you, right? They might ask you, sir or ma'am, will you have? And then whatever they want to offer you, right? So it will be, will you have a dosa? Right? Dosa is again, like some of you are already familiar with it. It's like a South Indian, a flat, thingy. It's very nice. I really enjoy it. Um, so, or will you have a salad? Or will you have a chai? Right? Again, if you look at it, it's future indefinite only. If you remember from our earlier lectures when we discussed future indefinite, it's basically an interrogative case where you have kya, and then everything is like however you say it in like the general sentence, right? Um, so let's practice with one of the sentence. So as Jon pointed out already, right? So as Jon already pointed out, the first one is क्या आप एक डोसा लेंगे, right? So all you've done is you've put the interrogative क्या before the sentence, right? Um, आप एक डोसा लेंगे is like और मैं एक डोसा लूंगा, it would be I will take a dosa, right? Um, we will take a dosa is like हम एक डोसा लेंगे, right? But because you're asking in this case, you put the interrogative before the sentence. क्या आप एक डोसा लेंगे, right? Very good. क्या आप, another one would be क्या आप एक चाय or a tea लेंगे? Will you have a tea? What else? We discussed one more case, salad. Simply, right? क्या आप salad लेंगे? Um, in Hindi, usually you call salad, which is similar to salad. So, क्या आप salad लेंगे? Right? So that's pretty much your case 5, right? Um, I want to do case 6, which is a little bit more interesting, where you will be learning about various kind of taste, right? So I hope you were able to write it down. Let's jump to the next case. And oftentimes when you go to a restaurant, you want to find out kind of the taste or texture this particular dish may have, right? You are going to say something like is it spicy or is it sweet, right? Is it bitter, or is it salty, or is it sour, right? Uh, what else? What else comes to your mind? Is it hot, right? These are kind of things that comes to that comes to your mind, right? And I want to cover those kind of situations in case six. Um, right. So let's see first one, right? Is it spicy? So when you say यह तीखा है और यह spicy है, it means this is spicy, right? But in this case, you are inquiring or you're asking the person, is it spicy? Like before you order, you are inquiring. How do you say that? Very good, right? So let's do the first one. And that way, at least it'll be easier for you to sort of like repeat it, right? So first one, the formula here is क्या यह this is your formula. You will have क्या यह. Yeah, so the formula here is क्या यह, and then the taste, and then your question, sort of like the to be form of the word. So it is either you can say क्या यह spicy है और क्या यह तीखा है, right? Um, right? Give me a quick minute. Right? So क्या यह spicy है और क्या यह तीखा है, right? Let's take the next one. Is it sweet? How do you say that? And again, if you're referring to something feminine, right? Um, for example, a sabji or a curry, you would be saying tikhi, right? If you're talking about something like a masculine, right? I mean, you can say tikha, kya ye tikha hai. For example, soup, right? Soup can be considered like masculine. So, kya ye soup tikha hai? Or kya ye sabji tikhi hai? Right? Is it sweet? Right? You will say क्या ये मीठा है और क्या यह मीठी है. So let's take the um, next taste, which is it sour? Is it sour? That would be khatta. Sour is khatta, and you write it as kh, and then half t, and then t with a, khatta. क्या ये खट्टा है, right? Uh, Next one is salty, and salt is namak. So when you say salt, salt is namak, and when you say salty, it's namkeen. Salty would be namkeen, right? Salty, right? So it would be क्या यह नमकीन है? क्या यह नमकीन है? Right? So I'll give you a quick So is it salty? And after that you have hot. Is it hot? And hot is basically garam, right? So it will be simply kya ye, very good. Kya ye garam hai? Kya ye garam hai? Right? So I hope you were able to at least learn some of the taste also along with that. Um, um, I'll take the next. We are short of time, but we'll just take the next one more scenario, the seventh scenario, and then that way at least you have a good sort of like a sentences in your pocket, right? When you go to uh, a restaurant, right? So now, having you've been to the restaurant, you've ordered your food, you've inquired about the taste it may have. Now you want to compliment about the food, right? You want to use some adjectives, right? Either you can say the food was bad or good, or food was, give me a quick minute. Yeah, so right, you want to compliment about food was good or bad, cold. What else, right? I mean, you can even give them a compliment about food was very spicy or anything that you want to sort of convey it. How do you say that? It's pretty straightforward. You will say khana, which is food, khana, and then very is bahut खाना बहुत अच्छा था, right? खाना बहुत अच्छा है. If you want to say food is very good or खाना बहुत अच्छा था, having finished your food, right? uh, you can say खाना बहुत if it is cold. And if you want to, I mean, we will have a proper lecture on critique also, how to do a positive criticism. You can say खाना बहुत ठंडा. I mean, as of now, I'll just say a simple sentence. But if you want to give a good compliments or a good criticism, how do you say that? We'll do it in later on, right? Um, how do you say food was authentic, right? Well, if you want to keep it simple, you can simply say खाना बहुत authentic. खाना बहुत authentic था. I'll give you a simple. I have to look up. This is a complicated word, but I know. But I will give you a simple word. So I'll probably respond via the Facebook group. As of now, just say खाना बहुत authentic था, right? As you mentioned, something that is served in India. If you've been to India, right? Um, you can also say food was fresh. It was like as if like they cooked खाना बहुत fresh, or you can say ताज़ा. खाना बहुत ताज़ा था, right? Or you can say simple, खाना बहुत simple था, which is like you like खाना बहुत simple था. Sometimes you like simple food, right? So these are the ways you can convey that. Um, so that is our case seventh. I'll just take one more minute and I'll finish the remainder of the things that I planned, which is um, after giving compliment, you want to tell them that I'll come again or we will come again, right? So I will come again, or if you went with a group, we will come again, right? Or simple, you can also say we won't come again. How do you say that, right? Okay, so फिर मिलेंगे is see you later. You can say that as well. But if you want to say I will come again, मैं मैं फिर और वापस. You can say either of them. Either फिर और वापस. Both of them are same. मैं वापस आऊंगा for a guy और मैं आऊंगी for a girl. Or you can say हम फिर और वापस. Either of them. हम वापस आएंगे for a group, right? Or plural. हम वापस आएंगे, right? And if you really didn't like it, and for any restaurant, right? मैं फिर, you can simply put a नहीं here. मैं 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 वापस नहीं आऊंगा, right? और मैं वापस नहीं आऊंगी if they didn't treat you well, right? और हम फिर, you can simply say नहीं आएंगे, right? But because we are positive people, we'll simply say हम फिर आएंगे, right? Um, that's it. That's all I wanted to cover for this lecture.